Hello, everybody.
Move to agenda item Frank Prado, cause number 0527.
Yes.
Do we have anybody present in connection with that complaint?
I see the respondent here, and I know the complainant had emailed me that he was going to attend. I'm not sure if he's waiting. Gregory Kerr.
Is there some way we can check that quickly?
I just pulled them in.
Oh, you did? Okay. Perfect. Okay. I will go ahead with my summary. On December 28th, 2022, Gregory Kerr, the complainant, filed a complaint against Frank Prado, the respondent, alleging the respondent falsified a return by stating he personally served the defendant, Jack Eagleston, when instead he left the documents with the complainant's bookkeeper. Per the answer and interview, the respondent admitted he did not personally serve the defendant, but denied he became loud or disruptive. And both parties are here.
We did find violations in this case, committee. Code of Ethics 2B, 2C, 2D, and Code of Ethics 14E. We're asking for a permanent revocation and an administrative penalty in the amount of $2,000 total, due within 12 months of the date of the final order for those violations. And per the proposed sanction matrix, this would fall under this proposed suggested sanction for these violations.
And we also have the video, Mr. Dyer, if you want to view it for this case also.
Okay, can we view that?
Yes, sir. Give me one moment. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Okay, let me start it over.
So there's not sound in the beginning on this one.
We aren't the audio.
Do we have anybody who can explain what this video purportedly represents?
Well, Mary, Mr. Dyer, this is Francisco Prado Jr. I'm Mr. Prado, the respondent is my father, but I'm also his attorney. Basically, this is the video that he was taking when he was leaving this paperwork there in the office, but there is some audio associated with it. And I guess the primary purpose of the audio would be to show he wasn't loud and disruptive.
Okay, do we have that audio?
I have the video queued if you guys would like me to try.
I'm not sure why the audio is not playing.
It might be a setting.
Did you try unplugging it and replugging it back in?
Would you like me to try, Titans?
Yeah, you can you can try, because I'm not sure why.
Can everybody see?
Yes, I can.
I know Gregory's not here.
Or was everybody able to hear?
Yes.
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 I guess the gang is part of the group. The gang is part of the group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that if I go show this and people want to confront her? Then I have to sign for it?
No, nobody's got a sign. I just got to drop it off.
Oh, you just got it.
Yeah, drop it off.
Well, what if it's not for anybody?
Yeah, well, is that, Gregory? Go get her.
Okay, hold on real quick. We need to
I think it's starting to repeat now. I think we've seen enough.
No, it continues, Mr. Dyer, where she comes back.
Okay.
And attempts to return the papers, I think, which is relevant to, I guess, the allegation that Mr. Prado tried to force the papers on her at some point, which she's holding the papers in her hand the whole time.
Still here, rolling around, still criminal side? making happy people happy. I gotta go serve a divorce right now, and I hate it. I hate those during this time. Yeah, I serve a lot of chills during this time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, the other attorneys told me I can't accept this because this is not,
Well, the deal is there's nobody left. You can call the attorney.
well, I cannot accept it. You gotta take it back.
I can't.
You gotta take it back.
No, that's,
You
no.
had no right to give it to me. I'm so,
And right there, basically, what it's showing is she's trying to give it back to him. Mr. Prado raised his hand because she got into his space and tried to force it on him. And at that point, unfortunately, the video cuts off, but he gets in the elevator and leaves.
That's an interesting point for the video to just cut off like that.
Paperwork can be it.
Well, may I, this is Greg Kerr, may I interject?
Yes.
So it's unfortunate that the video cuts off there because that's when I heard commotion from all the way in my office and went out there to find my HR manager flustered. And I heard voices raised. And that's when she informed me that he tried to put it on her and then he just dropped it on the floor and said, well, I'm not taking it back. And then he left and then filed the return saying he served Mr. Eggleston.
Okay.
No,
I don't think that the issues involve whether he raised his voice or not. There's some other serious concern here with regard to the accuracy of the return.
yes, sir.
Can you address those three issues under Code of Ethics 2A, 2B, and 2C?
The respondent you're asking, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Well, sir, let's get the story behind it is basically Mr. Prado was told by the plaintiff's attorney, Mr. Juan Guerra, it was a foreclosure sale where different there's obviously trustees and substitute trustees. Mr. Guerra instructed Mr. Prado, says, just go to Mr. Kerr's office at the law firm and leave the paperwork with whoever. That's what he was told. It wasn't because Mr. Prado thought that was where what was appropriate or what, in other words, he wasn't making an opinion as far as the legality of who was being served or not. He was instructed, take it there, whoever it is, they'll take it because they're work together on these foreclosures. So that's what he indicated to Ms. Medrano there. They just told me to drop it off. As far as a return, unfortunately, Mr. Prado, obviously, when he's doing his paperwork, he prepares the returns when he's going to go try to serve. That day, he left the paperwork. His intention was obviously because he left it there was he was going to notate that he left it in care of the firm. Unfortunately, with all his other paperwork and everything, he didn't go back. And it wasn't until this complaint was filed that he realized he never made that notation. After the fact, he didn't go back and amend it because he wasn't sure it was appropriate to do in light of the complaint. But he never intentionally meant to defraud anybody. He's been a process server for 26 years. He's been certified since 2010. And he would know better, never intentionally defraud the court or defendants or anything trying to indicate he served somebody personally when that wasn't the fact. It was an oversight on his fact to not go back and make the notation after Mr. Guerra had told him to go drop it off there. But it wasn't an intentional act. And like I said, he's been there, served for 26 years, certified since 2010, and he's never had a complaint. He's never had an issue like this. This is the first time that anything like this has ever occurred.
Mr. Prado, is there anything particular that you wish to address right now?
Is there anything else that you want to add? I think that's pretty much it. Go ahead.
Sorry about everything that happened. My intention was not doing anything illegal or filing
Okay,
anything.
hold on. Who's speaking?
This is Mr. Prado.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that my intention was never being to falsify anything or filing something at all. Because I never had no problem before at all. I was just asked to deliver there. I had already delivered a whole bunch of paperwork to Mr. Kerry Kerr's office before the secretary would take it with no problem. This is the first time I had any problem with them. That's it.
That's a heck of a charge to start with, though.
Well, it's a pretty serious one.
Yes, sir.
It's your duty, not some lawyer who told you to do something with it. And that's what I'm hearing now is I never did this before and a lawyer told me to do it.
Yeah.
That couldn't be
I apologize, sir.
I understand.
the other lawyer who's obviously telling you to do something that's wrong. And here's what happens. You get your return where you swear an oath that it's a proper return and you serve the person in that return, and you didn't do that here. Is there any other comments from members of the committee?
Is there any consideration from the investigating or the people who recommended based on his apology? And the fact,
Again?
sure. So I know that we've taken into consideration or we've considered how they've responded afterward as part of our recommendation for either sanction or penalty. I'm wondering if there was any consideration based on the recommendation that's been put forth, if that was taken in on this case.
We didn't consider that, Mr. Raspberry.
Any other questions or comments?
This is Greg Kerr again, the complainant. May I add just one comment?
Yes, keep it short, please.
Yes, Your Honor. I went and double checked the court's docket, and the 93rd District Court still has on file an unamended return, which theoretically subjects Mr. Eggleston to default at any time between when he was served and now. So that's the main concern that I had, and the reason I brought this complaint is it's still out there that he was served a year and a half ago.
And Mr. Dyer, if I may, and again, that was obviously my father. He's not, it's not an excuse, try to excuse, but obviously he's not a lawyer. He should have consulted me at least or somebody, but he didn't know if it was proper to at this point go make the amendment in light of the investigation that was going on. But he did add in his response that he was prepared to make the amendment if that's what was needed. But again, all we can say is it wasn't an intentional intent to defraud the court. It was never intended to make the court believe that he personally served Mr. Eggleston. It was just his oversight. It was obviously a serious oversight, Mr. Dyer, of not going back and adding the notation he intended to do. But, we'd ask you to please take into consideration. He's never had any problems. I know this is a serious problem, but all the years he's been certified and been a process server, this is the first time he's had a complaint. He's never had an issue like this before. And he would take any corrective action needed at the court to clarify that return.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
If I can just address something raised by Mr. Raspberry. Some factors that the committee can consider are the nature and seriousness of the violation, including the circumstances, extent, and gravity, the threat to health or safety, any previous violations, the amount necessary to deter future violations, whether the violator demonstrated good faith, including when applicable, whether the violator made good faith efforts to correct the violation, and any other matter that justice may require. I think the final factor could probably factor in any remorsefulness, but it does say efforts to correct the violation. Does include that.
And again, I state that was just because he wasn't sure whether to do it once the investigation was going, if that would be proper or not. But he did state that he's ready to do that if that's what's required or needed. But he didn't want to mess with it because, and again, that was his for not consulting anybody, that he felt that wasn't proper pending the investigation, or he needed to wait to hear from the commission.
Well, he certainly knew what an amended return was. And you're telling me he didn't even know what an amended return was. No one told him. That's in the basic curriculum here.
Oh, no, sir. I wasn't saying he didn't know. I was saying he didn't know whether he should do it or not because in light of the investigation being pending.
Right. Any other comments? I recommend and move to adopt the prosecutor's proposed violations and sanction. Do I have a second? Do I have any response from the other committee members?
I make a motion that we take off the sanction of permanent revocation, but keep the penalties, the monetary penalties.
If that's acceptable, I'd second it.
And just for clarification, would they be paid no later than 12 months from the date of the final order?
Yes,
Okay, and that's $2,000 penalty.
correct.
Okay, then someone needs to fashion a motion.
You want me to restate the motion? That
Yes,
was okay. I recommend that they pay an administrative penalty in the amount of $2,000 within 12 months of the date of the final order of violation for violation of ethics 2B, 2C, 2D, and Code of Ethics 2E.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All not in favor, nay? Nay. Okay, the motion passes. Mr. Prado, you are free to attend the rest of the hearing or to go home as you please. Thank you for participating in this. You will be receiving subsequent paperwork from the commission and the committee with regard to the sanction. Thank you again for attending. Have the rest of a good day.
Thank you,
Bye.
Commissioner.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.